Happy fucking New Year, you beautiful degenerates. We're dropping this on January 1st, right? Today, we're gonna talk about how I went from a dishwasher to owning 10 properties in under 5 years. Whew, that's way better. It's like -8 degrees outside. So today, we're gonna talk about how I went from a dishwasher to buying 10 real estate properties in under 5 years. How much they cost me, how much do they make now, and how can you also do it without becoming a crypto bro or selling feed pics. Yes, it works. Yes, it's not easy. If it was, everybody would own 10 houses and most people can commit even to a gym membership for 3 weeks. And no, you do not need rich parents. Do I have to say that in every video? So we're starting with property number 1, how I house hacked my way to living rent-free. So back in 2018, oh yeah, it's easy for you. You bought it when houses were cheap. And I already hear it. Yeah, douchebag, at the time we didn't have a crystal ball telling us, hey, by the way, the economy is about to do crack in 2020. So like every investment, you can only see it if it was a good or bad in retrospect. We all jerk off to 2008 crash buyers. They got houses for pennies. But back then, those poor bastards were one foreclosure notice away from starring in their own episode of Hoarders. Those buyers had no fucking clue if they were genius or complete idiots. And the line between those two is as slim as the line in front of a Microsoft store at Christmas. Very thin. So, as I was saying, back in 2018 when I bought my first property, when houses were basically on sale and the rates were lower than my self-esteem, I did a quick math. At the time, my rent was $1,250 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. I was looking at a house that would cost me about $115, and with less than $8,000 down, my mortgage, if I were to buy that house, would be around $800 a month. The math was mathing. Furthermore, the house is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, so if I were to rent the 2 extra rooms, which I did of course, for say $500 each, quick check, yeah, I was living rent-free. Of course, back then, everyone that didn't own a house was telling me how stupid I was for buying a house in my favorite, this market, which is the narrative for every news network for so many years now. Climbing markets that is bound to crash any day now. I keep hearing this for, yeah, since 2017, 2018. Fast forward to now, my mortgage is $740. How did my mortgage go down? I'll explain in the next segment. The property is rented right now for $2,000 a month, grossing me over $1,200, and I am called lucky to buy at the right time. Yeah, of course. The house is valued at about $250,000 now, and yes, of course I renovated it, and I mean I renovated it, and if you look too close, it shows. That first property didn't make me rich, but it made me dangerous. By the way, I will leave links down below to my videos that I go in detail of how I bought each property and other details about all the deals. So if you're done checking out your ex's bikini photos, you can watch them. Simply because they're longer videos that I cannot fit in this video. Property number 2, the property that cost me $0 out of pocket. I am driving down the road and I saw a for sale sign, found the property also on Zillow, listed for $65,000. Yes, I said $65,000. I made a call, submitted an offer for $63,000, the seller accepted. It is a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom property renting out for $700 at a time. The roof needed to be replaced, and so I did what most people would do. I asked the seller if she would cover the roof, and she said no, like most women say to me. So I counteroffered to split the cost, and she agreed.
Emotional, damn it!
So all in all, my down payment was $12,500, but because I did a cash out refinance on my primary property that we discussed earlier, I pulled out the cash from the equity and put that towards the down payment. Not only that, but I lowered my mortgage of my primary from $800 and some change to $700. And since my first house was my primary property, not an investment, this purchase for $63,000 marked my first investment property purchase. A year later, I renovated the property after the tenant left. I turned it into my first Airbnb. I have video links down below, as I said, with all the numbers. It wasn't always a smooth sailing though. I had a tenant who trashed the place. As you can tell, it's just a lot of trash. But oh well. The videos down below as well. And I took him to court. Of course I won. And now it is renovated long term for $1725.
What the heck?
Of course, the property is worth about $150 now, and my mortgage has increased from this to this. Property number 3, selling my Bitcoin to buy a house. The next property I saw on Zillow again 7 days, literally 7 days before the country got shut down due to the coronavirus at the end of March 2020. What's up guys, I'm in front of one of my properties that I bought right before the pandemic in March 2020. I think March 22nd, we closed like a week later. With a purchase price of $112,000 and a down payment of about $18,000, I sold my 2 Bitcoin for about $10,000 each at the time, and I bought this undervalued 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom property. Why undervalued? Well, in my opinion, this property was at least $150,000, which made it $38,000 underpriced. It was making at the time $1,035 in rent with a mortgage payment of $735, so gross cash flow was about $300. It didn't seem bad. 2.5 years later, I renovated it and I sold it for $245,000, which was almost $140,000 in profit, which allowed me to buy the properties that we're gonna talk next in the video. In the meantime, we were locked down during COVID for blissful 63 days, and I was so bored, I started this YouTube channel. I opened an ATM company. I lived cheap and didn't buy dumb shit. Hey guys, today I want to talk about how I went and bought my dream car. Well, I can explain the Tesla later. Property number 4, getting a turnkey property. At the end of 2021, I got this property from a company that buys crap, makes it not crap, stuffs the tenant in, and sells it to investors like me. My all-in cost after renovation, closing, down payment and everything was $6,648.66. No, this is not a typo. Purchase price was $110K and the property is valued at about $130,000 now. Rent was $950 and now I'm getting $1,200 with a mortgage of $870. Not bad at all. And then I signed the $1 million duplex deal like I was in Ocean's 11 pulling the ultimate heist. Roll the clip. There's a big day today, guys. The biggest day of my life so far. The biggest deal that I'm gonna sign so far. Again, videos from the deal down below. I am not gonna list property number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm just gonna list some stuff on the screen, but this is the grind phase, the unsexy middle. From the outside, it looks like you're killing it, but from the inside, it feels like running a business that you just can't quit. Money comes in, you'll see at the end how much, and money immediately leaves. Things don't break at one time, they break all at once. In the meantime, friends are traveling, upgrading cars, living life, taking photos on Instagram for the expensive restaurant, while I kept my expenses low. No designer crap, no luxury car, just me and my little spreadsheet. But yo, you bought a Tesla, yo, you bought a Tesla. Oh. Yeah, people are going insane, fucking idiots. Yes, I did buy a Tesla. And I kept hearing that, oh, you want to live a minimal lifestyle and keep your expenses low, but you bought a Tesla. What people fail to understand is this was a strategic purchase. If you haven't figured it out yet, understand it now. There's not really random stuff when it comes to me in purchases. If you follow my channel, you know I also ran an ATM company, a claw machine company, a bunch of other shit, and I drove about 25,000 miles per year, which made this purchase the best decision ever since Taylor Swift said fuck it and ditched country for pop. The tax write-offs? If you know, you know. And yeah, this is where most people quit. Not because they fail, but because it's boring, heavy, and slow. Listen, one property would not change your life or make you rich. 2 or 3 is still not a Lambo money. But if you keep your expenses low, don't buy shit you don't need, and save aggressively in the Make Future Me Less Broke fund, little by little, you have a portfolio that will set up your retirement before you hit 40. Oh, today I'm filming this on my 39th birthday, so 40 is coming. Remember, my first investment property, the 1 bedroom for $63,000, Well, I signed a deal for 6 duplexes in the same neighborhood. That neighborhood has 16 properties and I was gonna own almost half of it. In the years to come, rates climbed like my blood pressure. It's like dating in your 30s. Everything costs more, options suck, and you're questioning every life choice. I renovated 4 of the units and made them short-term rentals. I made a ton of money for the first year. Then the short-term rental market decided to take a dive like they were Jake Paul's opponent. I could have barely paid the mortgages. So I have converted them to long-term rentals now. And finally, here are the numbers. Here are the closing costs for all the 6 duplexes that I've paid. And here are the purchase price of said duplexes that I bought at the time. Some property cost me about $30,000 in down payment and some cost me about $1,500. The details you can see, as I said, in the videos linked down below. With a total down payment investment of $146,000, this doesn't include renovation cost. My gross income right now is about $250,000 per year. Well, that sounds impressive.
That's what she said.
But mortgages and MER, which is maintenance emergency reserves, are about $170,000 a year. And the total value of the portfolio right now is about $2.5 million. Of course, half of that is mortgaged. So if you run the quick math, I am making before tax about $80,000 a year, which is above average salary. And after you pay taxes, if you do, you just get an average salary or above average salary. The only difference is I don't have to go to work anymore. All right, just real quick. A lot of people might ask on what salary or what did I do to do all that, to invest all that. I have a video maybe 3-4 years ago that I made that I said that I would become a millionaire way before I make 6 figures a year. All of this I've done on a salary as a casino dealer. I was making, I think, $60,000 to $65,000 a year. That's pre-tax. There's only 1 year that I made, I think, over 70, but that's it. So what I want to tell you is you don't need an insanely highly paying job. You just need to be consistent and you just need to take the first step. All right, back to the video. A few honorable mentions that no real estate gurus tells you about. Well, I took one guy to court and got a restraining order against him. Because we went to court and I actually filed a restraining order against him. I haven't heard from him recently. I had to go through 2 full evictions, which lost me 3 months of income each time. And by the way, the 3 months of income wipes out your net profit for the year. So you basically work for free. I got 3 other tenants that left without eviction, but with 1 to 2 months of rent not paid. Which again, that kind of wipes off almost your whole year of net income. That's why you need vetting as strict as an HOA Karen measuring your grass with a ruler, a big security deposit, and an emergency fund as thick as Nicki Minaj's ass because disasters don't come solo. But it is not as easy as TikTok guru make it look like. No passive until you systemize, create maintenance routines, and start taking bookkeeping seriously. There will be moments that you would seriously think, why didn't I just buy an index fund and mind my business? Your friends group will change dramatically. But eventually, your mortgages will be paid by the rents, like they are now. Your wealth will be paid by the rising equities and principal paydown. And you have the freedom to quit your 9 to 5 if you want to. I got time now. Security, options. You can too. If you're dedicated, start small. Save that down payment. Educate yourself. Take calculated risks. Grind through the bullshit. Anyone with a grit can do this. From first investment to last investment property, it took me 4.5 years. Not bad for a guy who used to scrub plates. If you're watching this thinking, cool, but that sounds hard. Yeah, the fuck it is, are you stupid? But so is working till you're 65 and retiring on Social Security. You don't need 10 houses, you need 1 decision and the balls to keep going when the dopamine wears off. If this helped, subscribe. If it offended you, subscribe so I don't have to offend you again next year. So real estate was just my vehicle and how I did it, but opportunity is everywhere. Unfortunately, opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. And as always, the goal is not to look rich, but to be rich. I always say this, but I never explain what does that mean. Living like the rich means doing interesting things, not owning enviable things. See you in the next one. Peace! What the?